Good morning everyone, welcome back to Gigi the Garden Girl. Today there's a lot going on here. I'm going to do a garden harvest, we'll make some fresh orange and turmeric tea, we'll go over a few tips to get your compost pile started, plus we'll take a look at some very expensive seedlings. Oh my goodness, wait until you see that. Anyway, please just sit back, relax for a few minutes and let's get into it now. I'm starting off today over here by the orange tree, which are now ripe enough to start picking. I actually harvested a few of these beautiful, delicious citrus fruit today, along with some other goodies from the garden. Let's go and take a look at that now. Oh, sometimes these are hard to take off. I have to keep on twisting, but wait, there we go. Let's do a garden harvest, starting off with some oranges. Heaps of this purple mizuna. Here I've got some green mizuna too. I've got heaps of these beautiful looking gourds. They're all over the place. As I clear out garden beds, I just find more and more of them. Got a few peppers. Can you believe that we still have peppers? And it's a winter time here in Australia. Absolutely crazy. I've also still got tomatoes. Just beautiful. Snowflake has come over. She's eyeing up that basket. They're not for you, Missy Moo. And there are still a lot of these cucamelons to harvest. And finally, some turmeric. There we go. I'm going to use some of these to make some gorgeous tea. It smells good. I just grabbed a couple of those oranges and the turmeric. I reckon we should go and make a bit of tea. The first thing I need to do is get a lot of dirt off this turmeric. Next, I'm just going to remove all of these off and then give them a further wash inside. Now this tea I'm about to make, oh there we go, is so simple. Was so surprised how quick and easy it is, and really delicious too, especially with the orange and turmeric combination. They go really well together. You can see here I've now washed and chopped everything, slicing up the onions, and with the turmeric I wasn't too fussy there. I just sliced through the center of the turmeric rhizome, so they're still quite chunky. Next, I'm placing all of these in a pot of cold water. Look, I don't have exact measurements here. I'm kind of just chucking it all together. Has anyone made this before? Maybe you could share a few tips with us. I'm now going to bring everything in here to the boil. Now that it's come to a boil, I'm going to reduce it to a simmer and leave it here on the stove top for about 10-15 minutes. All that's left to do now is ladle some of this into a cup without spilling any. Can I do that? Let's see. There we go. A little bit of a top up. A nice warm tea to enjoy on a cold winter's day. I'm going to add a little squeeze of honey just to sweeten it up a bit. Oh, the honey is so cold. There we go. Lovely. Cilantro. As clearing out of the garden continues, I don't just have one or two, but 3 piles of greens that I need to start processing for composting. I'm a big fan of composting, which for any of you who are new to gardening is basically the process of converting organic material into nutrient-rich fertilizer and soil improver. I can see how new gardeners can feel slightly intimidated by the world of composting, And that's probably because when I first got into it, I felt that way. But trust me when I say that you will get into the hang of it in no time. I've made quite a few videos about composting on my TikTok account, and I was having a look through them, and there was two in particular that I think you may find helpful if you're just starting out. The first one is how to make a simple, inexpensive DIY compost bin, and then the second one is how to get your compost pile started. So let's go and take a look at those two videos now. Firstly, gather all your materials. You'll need 4 wooden stakes at least 1.5 meters in length, a scissors and some twine, a brick or heavy stone, a roll of chicken wire, and at least a meter long straight branch. On a clear piece of ground, in one corner, hammer in a stake using your brick. Repeat with the other 3 stakes, at least 3 foot by 3 foot. 1, 2, 3. Next, with your chicken wire, start wrapping it around your frame, covering the 3 sides but leaving this front part open. Secure the chicken wire onto the stakes with some twine. Double it over for extra strength. Then for the door, cut the chicken wire, wrap the end around the branch. A cheap and easy compost bin. I start my compost straight on earth. Worms will come from here and go into your pile. Firstly, put down a layer of twigs. This will help with aeration. Air helps everything to break down and the aerobic organisms needed to survive. Next, I'm adding a layer of brown or carbon materials. Dried out plant cuttings from summer, brown autumn leaves. If you don't have them, use shredded paper or cardboard. Next, add a bucket of earth from your garden. This will already contain microorganisms which will speed up the composting process. Now I'm going to add these kitchen scraps. These are the greens or the nitrogen. Next, cover with your brown or your carbon materials. A general rule is 2/3 brown, which is carbon, to 1/3 green, which is nitrogen. Water until it feels like a damp sponge. Update and more info soon. With the amount of organic matter that I already have, those 3 piles I showed you a couple of minutes ago, I reckon I'm going to need probably 5 of those DIY compost bins. But you know what? The thing is, composting doesn't even have to be that expensive, even though those materials I just showed you don't cost too much. In fact, if you have a zero budget, you can even make a compost pile directly on the ground. I have done that many times before. All you need to do is find an area in your garden that's a little bit tucked away, maybe the corner of your property, and get that pile mounted up. Do everything the exact same as you would with compost that you put into a bin or that cage thing that I just showed you. This week I went shopping in one of those big department stores here in Australia. Now, I'm not going to mention the company because I'm not into naming and shaming. The reason why I'm about to show you this plant is because I feel like sometimes new gardeners out there, they're so passionate, enthusiastic, and sometimes you can get carried away going out buying lots of seedlings, and maybe only when you come home that you realise that you didn't actually get good value for money. And I want to show you a really good example of this. Here it is. There was a whole tray of these pots marked as just leek. This one here was not the exception. They were all the same. So they either had 2 or 3 leeks in each pot. That's 2 leeks for, ready, drum roll, $4. Now, I did think about just recording the video in the shop, and I didn't feel comfortable with that. As you know, I only ever record here in my garden. I've never recorded anywhere else, like in garden centres and stuff like that. So I ended up purchasing the leek, and I know some of you which I understand may think, well, I'm just contributing to the sale of these really expensive seedlings. You know, supply and demand. If people buy them, they're going to just sell more of them. I'm kind of hoping it was a good sign the whole tray was full and most people would cop on that, you know, you're just being ripped off there. So I did think about it for a minute or two and thought, you know what, I'm going to buy it. Yes, it's $4, but if I'm able to, you know, share it with you guys, and especially I know lots of you are really amazing gardeners, but there are a few people on here who are new to gardening, and as I said before, I really want to just help them along and try and get the best value for money when it comes to their garden. So I was thinking maybe they deliberately just wrote the word leek and they intentionally just wanted to sell it as one leek plant, and maybe that was a bonus, or in the case of the ones with 3 you got a couple of bonuses. Anyway, it's just, it kind of it really annoyed me when I saw this. Now, to top it all off, when I got it home and I had a closer look, see if any of you spot this. Look at the instructions there. Do you notice anything? This is not a label for a leek plant. It's actually for, let me see if I can get closer there, spring onions. Well, what do you think about all of that? I just couldn't believe my eyes when I saw it. Oh my goodness. Oh, wow. Anyway, you know what? We have come to the end of this week's garden update. Thank you so much for sticking around till the end. If you are new to my channel, please consider subscribing. I would love your support. And until next Friday, stay safe, have a great week, and happy gardening.